Hi, welcome back to Recap Pro. Today I'll recap an American black comedy film called Rough Night. Spoilers ahead. The movie begins in a room with a couple of people playing beer pong. With only a cup left, Alice tells Jess that she can't do it. Jess talks about going through a Wendy's drive-thru when her car had no windshield and only 3 tires. The other team mocks Alice, calling her foot job girl for getting his roommate off with just a foot. Jess reminds her that if they win, they'll be the only girls to ever win the Halloween tournament. They kiss the ping pong ball and Alice takes the shot, shooting the ball from her mouth. She scores. The girls hang out back in Jess and Alice's room and we find out that Jess is transferring to Australia the next semester for her political science course. Blair and Frankie try to dissuade Jess from going. Jess promises that they'll have their senior year together as well as the rest of their lives. She assures them further that even their kids will be playing together. 10 years later, we find Jess watching her political ad since she's running for state senate. Her team informs her that 60% of the focus group thinks she wouldn't put it out, which confuses her since Wesson tweeted out a photo of his member. They have a discussion with Jess arguing that he'll cut out all of the funding for relevant programs, but Raviv explains that the people want someone they can relate to, which they think Wesson is. The girls meet at the Miami airport. They only have 55 hours in their weekend, so Alice pulls out a bottle of champagne which Frankie takes and pops open. Since they're in an airport, everybody screams and ducks in fear, thinking a gun went off. During dinner, Jess exclaims that Pippa has arrived. She's the friend Jess made in Australia. They have their reunion at the restaurant and Alice is immediately jealous while Frankie and Blair giggle at the display. Pippa states that it's exciting since they're all Jess' best friends, so it feels like they're also best friends, but Alice interjects that she's been Jess' roommate since freshman year, so they're basically family at this point. She then brings out a bunch of printouts of clubs they could go to, but Jess admits that she was hoping they had an early night. Alice refuses. Frankie returns from the bathroom and blurts out that she scored some snow from the busboy. Everyone except Jess is delighted. Unable to turn it down after Alice guilt trips her, she does it with them at the bathroom. They enter a club and party intensely. While getting drinks, Blair suggests they get Jess an exotic dancer, to which the others agree. The group minus Pippa gets called over to the stage after Alice made a request so they can do their college dance routine. Pippa cheers them from the audience as the girls strut their stuff. However, Jess gets too into the song and forgets that she needs to catch Alice as she does a trust fall. Blair calls for her attention, but it's too late and Alice falls flat on her back. To comfort her, they snort more snow. Back at the house, someone rings the doorbell and before the man can speak a word, Blair comments "not bad" and tells the others that the exotic dancer has arrived. He goes with it and asks for the bathroom. Jess turns to the girls and tells them repeatedly that she doesn't want an exotic dancer, but they ignore her as they get the place ready for the guy. When he returns, Frankie introduces Jess and sits her on a chair and the girls egg him on when he starts taking his clothes off. He sits on Jess' lap and talks dirty to her, which immediately turns her off, so she pushes him away and goes to sit next to Frankie. The exotic dancer occupies the chair Jess was previously sitting on and Alice calls out that it's her turn and jumps onto his lap aggressively. They fall back and he hits his head on the corner of a table. Alice assures everyone she's okay, but everyone's worried about the exotic dancer. She tells them he's okay, but then finds that there's blood quickly pooling on the back of his head. Everyone starts panicking, with Jess trying to perform CPR while the rest argue over what to do. Jess is about to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation but declares him dead instead when Frankie discloses that he has no pulse. Pippa suggests they call the police, but Jess turns the idea down instantly. They berate Frankie when she reveals that the exotic dancer is really a paid companion. Jess angrily demands what she was thinking when she knows that she was running for public office. The doorbell rings. It's the pizza delivery guy. They move the body and Pippa answers the door. The group eats the pizza as they plan for their next step. Blair offers to call her Uncle Jack, who's a lawyer. Peter calls Jess and against her friend's advices answers it. Her voice is weird, which Peter points out. She spills almost everything that happened but doesn't say that the guy's dead as the phone's snatched from her hand. Frankie breaks it. Peter misunderstands and thinks that Jess is having second thoughts about their wedding. Blair confiscates everyone's phone until they talk to a lawyer. Peter informs his friends about Jess' call and they debate whether or not she cheated with a paid companion. He announces that the wedding's off since when he asked Jess if they should go through with the wedding she yelled no. The house they're staying at has glass walls. Alice tells Jess that they have to hide the body before anyone else tries to come close to the house again. They take him to the garage where Pippa turns the garage door open instead of the lights. In her alarm, she presses on the switch multiple times, which just puts the garage door in a loop of opening and closing. Frankie and Blair come back from the store after buying a burner phone, but the taxi parks at the driveway and notices the girls who are losing it now. The two throw money at the taxi driver and rush out. They decide to hide the body in the house's closet that has a swing used when having intimate relations. Blair finally calls her Uncle Jack, who informs them that they can be charged with involuntary manslaughter, which isn't easy to prove so long as they leave the body where it is and not touch it, which the group already did. He tells them they knowingly tampered with the scene, which means they're guilty of accessory after the fact and would have a strong case against them. They could each get up to 15 years in prison. He suggests that if there's no body, there's no case. The girls argue over why they can't go to prison. Frankie for having marks on her record. Jess, who's running for office and is about to get married. Blair divulges that she can't do any time since she's in the middle of a custody battle, which is news to them. She admits that she is separated from her husband 6 months ago. Alice asserts that she can't go to jail as her students idolize her and may turn to a life of crime if she's sent to prison. Jess realizes that Blair's uncle did mention that they can't be convicted if there's no body. Back at the bachelor's party, Peter's friends try to convince him to get back out there and move on, but he refuses to do so. Tired of all the whining, Toby tells him to do something about it now and he agrees. He tells them he'll go to Miami and win her back, which they fully support him. He buys a bunch of energy drinks and adult diapers to last him the whole drive to Florida. The girls, on the other hand, has brought the body out and placed it on top of a jet ski. They roll the jet ski and the body out of the beach. Lee and Pietro, the neighbors, open their lights up to greet them, running to them in excitement since they thought that the girls are skinny dipping. They push the body off the jet ski and greet the couple. To distract the couple from the dead body, Pippa makes out with it. They ask if they can join the two, but Blair, knowing the couple's attracted to her, goes to divert their attention instead. Pippa drives the jet ski to dump the dead body in the middle of the ocean. Frankie tells the others that it never happened, which they concur too. As they're pushing the jet ski back, Alice screams when she finds the cameras the neighbors have. Blair has drinks with the couple. Lee's sitting close to her while Pietro sits across them. She turns Blair's attention to her and asks to kiss her before doing so. Pietro gasps and joins them. Blair proposes they get it on tape and Pietro sets up a video recorder, but Blair tells them that it's her fantasy to get caught on a security camera instead. Pietro opens the door to the balcony and invites them out. The three engages in a little love affair, with Pietro holding Blair's ankles and Lee going to town on her flower. After their little lovemaking, Blair asks for a copy of the tape, but the couple laughs and Lee tells her that the security cameras don't work. The girls thoroughly clean up the house, making sure to disinfect and get rid of any and all evidence. Alice then suggests they take a photo of the human centipede, which is a play on the movie Human Centipede. They take a photo of it out on the beach. When they check it out, Alice screams again since the body washed up ashore. Jess complains that they have to get rid of the body soon since they can't do it in broad daylight. Someone knocks hard on the door and announces that he's the police. The girls think the neighbors called on them. Frankie greets him and the man tells her to put her hands against the wall. Trying to talk her way out of it, he raises his voice and she complies. He gropes her even after her refusal, so she throws her head back, hits him on the face, and knocks him out. They try to move the body, but his clothes come off, revealing it's a throwaway and it's the actual exotic dancer. She checks his Johnson out since the ad posted only had the manhood on there and no face. She confirms that this was the guy she had transacted with, which means they don't know who the dead guy is. Peter, on the other hand, hustles to get enough money for gas since his card got suspended due to unusual activities. A truck driver offers him a pep pill for $40, which he declines. He offers Peter $15 to suck on his cucumber, which Peter refuses as well. While rushing to collect enough money, he runs into another guy who's looking to juice on some sausage or get some upper. He decides to offer him some stimulant for $80, pocketing the difference, then introducing the two to each other. Another fighting erupts between Blair and Frankie as well as Alice and Pippa. Blair lets slip that Jess had a bridal shower which Alice wasn't invited to. Jess finally admits that Alice can be very possessive and she likes to guilt her when she doesn't spend enough time with her. Alice points out that she's not trying to monopolize her time but rather make the most out of it because she's always busy. She accuses Alice of making the weekend all about her because she needs to post photos to make her life seem less sad. This hurts Alice and she declares that she'll leave her alone from now on. Something starts making a weird noise which Pippa, Frankie, and Blair look for. They find the dead guy's phone and realize it's being tracked. Frankie tries to shut it off but the phone shows that whoever tracking it is already close. The doorbell rings again. Fraser and Ruiz check the body and tell the girls that they were very lucky because the guy was a very dangerous man. Apparently, he robbed a jewelry store and killed a security guard. The man was actually on the run. Pippa asks if this means that they're on the clear and they agree. The officers start interrogating the girls about a missing diamond. Pippa looks over to the television that's turned on but muted. The news is showing there were 3 men who were part of the jewelry store robbery. The dead guy and the officers. Pippa announces that she needs a tampon. She gives them a look. Blair looks over to her and tells her that she didn't lock the tampons away but rather there, and then she notices the television and the wanted men. Trying to use the remote, Pippa accidentally turns the volume on the television and the guys realize that the girls are aware of who they are. They pull their gun out and ask everyone to move to the couch except Jess, who they don't know about. After her shower, Jess finds the letter that Alice asked her to open after the weekend. She reads it and Alice shares how much she appreciated what Jess had done for her and how much her friendship meant. She hears screaming as she finished, so she quietly steps outside and finds everyone zip-tied together with men pointing a gun at them. Fraser states that he'll look for the diamonds himself. Jess hides in the bathroom. She sneezes, which Fraser hears. He heads for the bathroom where she sprays him with hairspray and grabs his gun. She orders him to handcuff himself to the sink with a pair of furry handcuffs that Alice had brought with her. Ruiz threatens to kill everyone if nobody reveals where the diamond is. He warns them that he'll start with Frankie. Jess jumps from the 2nd floor and attacks Ruiz before he can shoot them. They get into a fight while the group shimmies to take the gun that was dropped. Alice gets the gun and successfully shoots Ruiz on the leg. Jess knocks him out with a statue she's holding. She rushes to hug Alice and apologizes to her, which Alice echoes. The two make up. Fraser screams for Jess to drop the gun. He reveals that the keys were still taped to the handcuffs she made him use. He cocks the gun and that's when Peter rams his car into the front of the house, hitting Fraser. Jess rushes to his side where he starts crying, asking her if she doesn't like his Peter. She denies this and reassures him that she loves it. She proposes they elope, which Peter agrees to. The two get married at the foam party that Alice had gotten them tickets to. Everyone cheers as Pippa married the two. Toby approaches Alice to ask if he could get her a drink, but Alice has to refuse since she's on a date with Scotty, the real exotic dancer. Someone else walks up to Blair, but she tells him that she and Frankie are a thing. They get back together. Raviv calls Jess to let her know that the story about them taking down the jewelry robbers went viral and her win is a sure thing. The movie ends with Peter taking a photo of the new friend group. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe my channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video.